You've been grinding away earning ships, armor, and cute little plushies for your ship, but now you hear it's all getting wiped. You'll keep everything that's been added to your account, but your in-game items and stats will be no more. But this is actually a good opportunity to take advantage of. Get new ships for free, find the perfect group, and figure out a game plan for the next patch. I'd like to explain why these progress wipes happen in Star Citizen, when they might stop, and how you can best prepare for the game after the wipe. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk. This all started when updates became time-based rather than content-based. When 3.0 dropped, we started Q1 of 2018 with nothing. And every patch after that, every 3 months until 3.8.2 in Q1 of 2020, we continued starting over with nothing. But with 3.8.2, we received long-term persistence, a sort of baby persistence that allowed our items, ships, and money to all carry over from each patch. With this change, combined with the addition of ship purchasing in-game, it finally felt like Star Citizen was a game you could progress in, and the funding numbers showed the change. Obviously, there were a few key influencers in 2020, but there has definitely been a distinct surge in funding that has maintained momentum. Regardless, this persistence, which started in Q1 of 2020, continued all the way into late 2021 with the introduction of local inventories. With the 3.15 patch, databases changed and items were physicalized. We saw the creation of loot tables and an asset manager that could track your belongings across the star system, which really needs a search function. After this big change and such a long period beforehand, nobody really expected another wipe so soon. But in the summer of 2022, with Alpha 3.17.2, we saw a partial wipe. I'll explain more about this later, but it allowed our reputation to persist and stay with us while everything else was reset. With the development of 3.18 continuing on unexpectedly, we saw a good 5 months of progress until the latest progress wipe was confirmed. But with Alpha 3.18, everything goes. This patch is introducing one of the biggest back-end changes to Star Citizen in 10 years of development, so everything is being reset. Obviously, all items purchased with real money or attributed to your account through contests, participation in events, or other specific tasks will remain. Though, keep hold of them, because you will only get them back during one of these resets or when you repair your character. But what is actually yours is yours. And while the consistency of these wipes is not exactly clear, we seem to be in a pretty turbulent time, and generally you'll be able to see them coming. But that they've happened doesn't really describe why they happen. It's actually been different almost every time, but all wipes are generally about the same thing: game stability. So to start, one minor thing these progress wipes allow the studio to fix are very game-breaking bugs that are linked to accounts and characters that could not be fixed without major database work, which is a nice byproduct of these wipes and adds to game stability, but it's not exactly the main reason. The first big reason is to avoid inaccurate or skewed data. Exploits that let the economy run rampant, or a huge amount of ships being purchased due to one person, or a money exploit that gives everybody millions. These occurrences usually lead to data that doesn't represent the actual patch being played, and can compound after a couple updates. This was what led to the progress wipe of Alpha 3.17.2, which excluded the removal of reputation progress in that partial wipe I mentioned earlier. We can actually see Ulf referencing the bad data in question here in the announcement. And there's also this tidbit at the end of the 3.15 progress wipe highlighting that players have been accumulating wealth in the persistent universe with no economic sinks to balance it, pointing to the idea that ultimately resetting this progression would offer better data. It isn't related to a specific exploit in the game, but does lend to the importance of them wanting to collect accurate data in the persistent universe. The second major feature for progress wipes is a major database update. These actually happen pretty regularly given the features being added these years, but pretty rarely in ways as major as 3.18. As more crucial technologies like PES, server meshing, and quantum come online, we'll need to see more wipes for this very reason. Just a little further down in that 3.15 announcement I showed you a bit ago, we can see that CIG anticipates these wipes will be exceedingly important when it comes to these major updates. Which brings us to 3.18 and persistent entity streaming. While it is missing its matchmaking service, which really extends the possibilities of the feature, it's a huge step for the asset maintenance and storage system for the game, in the long term leading to more consistent experiences and better stability. This technology, which I covered in a video earlier this year that'll be down in the relevant links, is a huge chunk of functionality being added to Star Citizen that's gonna call for quite a few things to be reset in the background. And just like this statement says, the same is true for server meshing. So while this wipe is happening this year, you should also be expecting one for 4.0 possibly next year as well, likely the biggest update in Star Citizen's development. Because of all these major changes in the database, features, and backend, we've been seeing a high frequency of progress wipes in the last few years. However, we have seen an 18-month period of full progression with no wipes prior to local inventories being added in 3.15. But this is all to say there is a clear reason for why these wipes occur, but that reason only really helps us anticipate the big ones, like 3.18 and 4.0. So it's important to remember that while the game is still in the alpha phase, you should expect possible progress wipes of varying degrees. I think we will see less and less after server meshing, but they won't be fully gone for years. And if that's not something you're interested in participating in right now, I would hold off on the game, and maybe just try it out every so often. If you are interested in this though, let me give you a few tips on how to prepare for these progress wipes. So you hear a progress wipe is coming and suddenly all motivation to play the game is lost. I get that, but you also have some pretty good opportunities if you keep an eye out. For starters, once a wipe is imminent, money stops mattering, and many people who have been hoarding it are happy to give it away in-game, across Discord, or on Spectrum. You'll most likely be able to ask for enough money to rent a ship you've always wanted to try, if not just buy it. It's an easy way to try out a part of the game you may not have the chance to until well after the wipe. And maybe you'll make a friend, or a sugar daddy. As annoying as it may sound, it's also a great time to just practice. Hear me out. Instead of risking negative rep at the beginning of a new cycle and slowing down your potential progress to better rewards, try out any new missions right now. Even better, if you like to stick to a specific side of the law, use this chance to try out the alternative when it won't affect you long term. Both of these things may lead to some surprises for you in a couple new regular activities and missions. It also offers you a chance to get better at the game in virtually a no-risk environment. Well, at least long term. And finally, I would definitely suggest looking for an organization to join. These are in-game guilds ranging from casual to serious, made up of all kinds of players. The easiest way to find an org is to go to the directory on the website linked down below, but I also have an org you can join. We are a group of casual to serious players that participate in most kinds of gameplay of different sizes. Joining an organization like this gives you an easy source of news, events, things to do, and help regarding getting started again. If you need mining help you can trust, you'll have an org. If you need an escort that's easy to communicate with, just go through your org. And if you want to go low flying with a group, chances are your org is doing it. So consider looking around for a group that's active and interested in the same things you are, and check it out prior to the wipe so you can hit the new update running. I'll leave a link to my own org's website with the org directory down below. There are plenty of different things people do to prepare for progress wipes. Everybody should at least be wearing out all their best armor. They're normally too scared to lose. Treat yourself a little. You got through all of 3.17. There's also no doubt that these wipes will keep coming as long as the game is in the alpha state. There's just too much crucial data being changed for an occasional reset not to occur. This of course doubles as a great benefit to the studio as items purchased with real money are not wiped. Makes sense, but convenient. But I promise, if you find a group to play with occasionally, you'll earn everything you need easily. Regardless, I hope this video helped you learn more about the need for these wipes and how you can best prepare for them. If you want to keep learning more about Star Citizen, consider subscribing and looking around. I have podcasts, gameplay, live streams, giveaways, and more for you. I hope you learned something new in this video, and I'll catch you in the next.